So I'm going to try this new stove technique, this new piece of kit that I put together. This is pretty much a little device that I picked up at the Salvation Army for $1 or $2. I think it came from IKEA. And I just took a Dremel and cut out one of those sections of holes. And then it goes upside down. And then the water goes on top. So I'm going to see about how long it takes to boil some water with this little device. I got these little oak sticks. So I'm just going to pack this full of little oak sticks and see how good this little hobo stove works. And the idea is that, I usually carry a little alcohol stove too, but if I could save my alcohol in the stove for when I don't have time to make a fire or whatever, then this can come in handy, because the alcohol stove can also fit directly underneath this thing. So I'm going to pack it full of sticks to begin with. Flipped it over, now it's full of sticks. I have this little tinder box. And it's got little fatwood shavings and beeswax for my bees, and it's got little crumbles of sap and stuff in there. So put a little crumble of sap in there. I think I'm going to save my fatwood for now, and little shavings, but I might put a little piece of beeswax in there just to help kind of ignite it. Kind of stuff it in there. And then I have a little lid for the water to make it boil a little faster. I'm just going to get this going. I have a little torch here. Just to kind of save on time. I'm going to set the water on top of those little nipples on the top. Let it rip. So what I'm mainly testing now is to see if this little opening is going to be enough, or if I need to, cut it open wider, maybe to the outside of these holes here, make the doorway a little bigger. I might even put a door on it with some little teeny hinges, or who knows, it might just work with a little piece of foil. But there's some pretty good heat already coming up through there. A little handful of oak sticks. It looks like it's lapping out of the door. That little opening, I could probably plug it with the old piece that I cut out, but I think I'm going to have to some kind of attach a little bit of wire or something to hold it in place. But this is mainly just the experimental phase, because what I like to do is, a little bit of survival bushcrafting. I like to take some buddies out once in a while and go see what we could do, and my friend Nick, he's got a solo stove, and a year and a half, 2 years ago, we went out way out in the mountains, and it was cold. We were down in this ravine, and hey, Gizmo. He had this little solo stove, and we all crowded around it like it was a campfire to stay warm. So it's good to test these kind of things before you're all out there and your life is on the line, and you want to kind of know how your gear works and how fast it can boil. Water. It's interesting how it seems to mainly be jetting out of that one opening. I guess there's a little coming out the back too. But it was completely stuffed full of twigs, so I was kind of hoping that it would kind of direct towards the bottom a little better than that, but maybe that does mean I need to put a little doorway in there, a wire little door in there or something, just so we can close that gap and open it when we need to. What I like to do when I boil water in the evening is I like to fill up my clean canteen. I have a 36-ounce one, and I just put it inside of a sock, a big wool sock, and I do 2 of those usually in the winter months, and it is something that just maintains heat for about 5-6 hours. And when you're like stuck in a shelter for 12 hours, you only need to reheat that water once. So it'd be nice to just set this up, warm up some water, put it out, get it ready again, so that at 2 in the morning when it's time to reheat that water, I just gotta, throw a couple matches in there and let it rip. I can already hear that water hissing. So it's pretty good. We're just about almost 8 minutes in. One burn. Didn't add any sticks much to speak of. I think 1 or 2 little sticks just to get rid of them. Also, being able to heat up water is a way to sterilize your water so that you don't have to filter it, or you lose or break your filter or something else happens. It's good to have multiple ways to make your water safe to drink. If you get wounded, it's good to have clean water to wash your wound with. It's also good to just have warm water, period. You can also cook with it, add it to, or make soups and stuff out of it. So potherbs, wild potherbs are one of my main ones. So like, stinging nettle. This is a type of stinging nettle right here. Kind of a low growing one. It does make good wholesome potherbs. Mallow, curly dock, broadleaf dock, anything like that works in a wild soup. Even milk thistle, or purple that milk thistle. That's also a really good one for the getting toxicity out, like a liver cleanse. But it's good to eat. Makes a good soup. So if you have any kind of protein, whether it's escargot or some kind of wild game, you can throw little pieces of it in there, and then you can just make a potherb. Throw some of those leaves in there, and then it stretches out your meat a little bit. Stretches out your whole soup in case you got to feed more than just yourself, or you can eat like a king. Little youngin' starting to speak to me, tell me to go over there and take care of him in a second. This titanium lid fits on pretty snug. So yeah, we're already starting to get little bubbles in there. 10 minutes. Saves on bringing fuel out, and that thing just sleeves around the clean canteen. So the bottom of the canteen fits inside the titanium pot, and then this little stove goes over the top. And then it becomes one little cylindrical unit that is convenient to carry in the pack. And this all just sleeves together. And it's kind of, a lot of people buy the mainstream kits. There's a Pathfinder one that's a really good one. I have a lot of those type of products too, but I also kind of find it fun to put together my own set. It's just kind of the whole part of bushcraft is, you know, fashioning up your own kit, and then not just strictly relying on going online to get your stuff, or going to REI or wherever you might go just to get your stuff. Sometimes if you can find deals or fashion up your own kit, it just kind of brings that extra little meaning to it, and it also kind of fits into that self-reliance mindset. Although there's nothing wrong with picking up a good piece of kit that's been tried and true and you know it's going to work. Nothing wrong with that at all. Make sure you're outfitted and you know how to use your gear, especially before you go and rely upon it. Put your life and other people's lives on the line. But yeah, that's a good little stove kit. I think it's going to work the way it is. I think it's easy enough to add little twigs in there. Once it burns down a little bit, you just kind of flick a twig in there and keep it going. And this sucker's hot all the way around. And I think that the same kit, just flip it upside down, and now you got yourself a little campfire, portable campfire. Put a couple rocks around it, and it's a good leave no trace thing, because you have all your ashes contained. You're not sterilizing the ground if you wanted to have a little fire. It also blocks a lot of the light, so you keep your visual footprint to a minimum. You know, a lot of places we go, it's not necessarily illegal to go there, but we're also not trying to attract the attention of anybody else, especially, you know, people that have a power trip that might want to use that authority over you when you're vulnerable, you're out camping. You know, just have a little pack with your things and you're settling down for the night, and then someone shows up and they're going to harass you or something. Might as well just avoid all that together by being as low pro as possible and minimizing that exposure. Because as it stands right now, you know, you're not going to see this. You might smell a little bit of the smoke, but it's actually burning really clean because of all the holes all the way around. As long as you're not adding too many sticks at once, it's going to burn pretty clean. All that extra smoke is going to burn. So yeah, to all my friends that are watching, get a little kit together. Practice. Let's go out and get involved with some shenanigans out in the woods. Let's have some fun. A little bit of absinthe or some whiskey. Some nice warm water, make some hot chocolate or coffee or something. Easy Mac. Go explore, look for some hot springs or something. So anyway, I think this one was a success. I think I'll take the Dremel and kind of round off all those burrs and sharp edges on the doorway. I might still fashion up a little spring activated door, like a wire gate door or something, just so that we can plug that extra hole. But I don't think it's all that necessary. I mean, even just like a rock or something like that would probably just do just fine. A piece of aluminum foil. It doesn't need to be too fancy. Just has to work good. You guys have a good rest of your evening, and give it a thumbs up and share it if you like. or give me a call and we'll talk about going on a trip. Talk to you later.